self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the afternoon live stream, 161 River Ave. We got several special guests here. We got Hector from Yankees Morning Brew. We have Tats from the Pinstripe Chronicles, and we got Michael M. Mazza from 4Train Express. We have a lot to go over, and there's a possibility we might have another guest with some intel he has to share with us, but we'll see. If he doesn't come, I'll show you the intel at the end of this live stream, and I'll share it with you, Tats, too, before you go, or after you leave, so you'll get it too. But what are we thinking about? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Aaron Judge. He's back. What do we think? Let's go.
Ain't no panic button. Ain't no need to panic, Yankee fans. We got our guy back. Ain't no need to panic. Thank you, John Heyman, for that little blunder yesterday, because you know how Steinbrenner, he had a 30-minute reality check. Like, if Aaron Judge was to leave, the visual from the fans on Twitter last night, the energy he got, he said, no, I can't let this continue and go forward. So glad, that is done. Aaron Judge is back with the Pinstripes where he belongs. Aaron Judge is back.
What do you got for it? I love it. What's your take, Sean?
So he's finally waking up to what fans are talking about, to what you, myself, Tats, and Hector are all talking about. It's time to spend that money and invest in the team. And he is finally doing that. And now that I'm hearing something about Rodon, Yankees possibly getting done as well, that's also a sign that he's actually waking up and listening to what the fans are saying. So I'm loving it.
Yes, indeed. That's what you got. What do you think?
It's one first positive. It's great to finally put a face to the name. I really enjoyed chatting with you. But with Judge, it was the inevitable that needed to happen because the Yankees needed to flex. Yes. We heard a couple weeks ago when Hal made that statement that nobody's going to outbid me. The Yankees needed to flex. Yes. We heard a couple weeks ago when Hal made that statement that nobody's going to outbid me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They brought out their inner Ronnie Coleman, right? The Lou Ferrigno, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Mr. Universe. They brought out the muscles, man, right? And to me, too, you guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. To me, too, I'm excited about it. And there's a couple of tidbits. So San Diego came in late last night with a 10-year, $400 million offer. 400, okay, for 10. They gave them the 10th year of 40 per. San Francisco bumped up their offer to 380. After that, Judge met with all three teams last night. He flew in from Florida, and then Hal Steinbrenner called him and said, "Look, do you want to be a Yankee? Yes. How much? Yes." So he bumped it to 360 right there, and that's when they agreed on it. So he left two bigger offers on the table to come back home. So I have to give Judge credit because I thought he was going to go to the highest bidder. I was wrong there. So not afraid to admit it. So welcome back, Aaron Judge. I'm happy that you did it. What they do next, like Mikey Mazza said, is key. And I'll say this: I'm excited, but I'm afraid. You know why? Because Wilson Contreras just went to the Cardinals. Okay, 5-year, 87.5. The Astros, he was their number one target.
Yes, he was.
What I'm afraid of now is the Astros might say, you know what? We lost out on Verlander. We lost out on Contreras. Let's go get Rodon, whatever it takes. So this is the time right now for Cashman. It's Cashman time to do his thing, right? Hal did the Judge thing. If I'm Cashman, I'm all over this Rodon move right now. And then, of course, rather than giving $20 million a year to Nimmo or Benintendi, you got to trade for Brian Reynolds immediately.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So Rodon and Reynolds have to be part of this. And I was just listening to Meredith Marakovich. She was talking to some of the Yankees people and some of the people, Heyman and them, and they said the Yankees are not even close to being done. Nowhere near being done. So I heard it from her lips to God's ears, man. So I'm happy about that as well. What are your thoughts on the other moves? What do you think the next move should be for the Yankees?
Well,
go ahead, Tats.
This morning, I say the Yankees need to make another big move within the next 24 hours. Keep that flex that we keep talking about on our shows. They got to keep going. They got to put their foot down and just stomp out the competition going, look, we have our gap that we need to get this championship, and enough is enough. Hal is saying, I'm not playing games anymore. I'm bringing the credibility back to the pinstripes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
To your point too, Army Cashman asked Hal for assurances that Judge won't be the only move that they make, and he got assurances from Hal to say the checkbook's still open. So that makes me feel a little bit better too.
Yes.
And Greg Winter, do we think Rodon will sign today? I do. What about you guys? What do you think?
Same.
I think I'm with you guys. Sorry, Hector.
I think no, I was going to say it's later on in the night when I'm probably not going to hear something to probably 11, 12, 1 o'clock.
I think Rodon, I think you're right, Hector. Rodon's done. He's done today. He's coming off the board. He's coming home to the Bronx where he belongs. And then I think the next move after is Brian Reynolds is coming home to the Bronx too, because both of them are the top two priorities. You can't steer shy from that. We know that. We need another corner outfielder. You can put Reynolds in left if you wanted to. You can do whatever you need to get rid of the bad contracts, but make sure that you've got Reynolds and Rodon in the fold.
Yeah. It's easier for a center fielder to move to a corner than it is for a corner to move to center field.
Yep.
So Reynolds has an advantage here. He's athletic. And whatever you do, you got Bader in center field to back up Judge and Reynolds or whoever else. So we have an elite field. The best center fielder defensively in all baseball is in the Bronx, patrolling.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I mean, Reynolds, Bader, and Judge, I'll sign up for that all day.
And it's if you get Reynolds, it's insurance that, even if Harrison Bader was to go down, knock on wood, with any kind of injury, or Reynolds will go down with any kind of injury, you don't have to worry about putting Judge in center field, because you have both Harrison Bader and Brian Reynolds that could play either or if one of the others hurt. So they don't have to worry about having Judge over these next 9 years trying to play center field. No, let Judge play right field like I talked about last time I was on with you, Jason. Let Judge play right field for the next 4 or 5 seasons. As soon as Stanton is out the books, off the books, then you move Judge right to the DH role and just have him be the DH for those last 4 years. And if Judge can give you what in his last 4 years, give you what Giancarlo Stanton does right now, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean,
I think now, because of the money that Judge got and the potential money that Rodon is going to get, that's where I think Maz is onto something with Reynolds. I think this is where the Yankees pivot to keep that payroll from really skyrocketing.
It makes it easier.
Benintendi, I think they're going to pivot to Reynolds because of the years of control.
It makes more sense. He's on the cheap for the next 3 years. It makes it easier for them to afford a Rodon.
And it's not.
And if you think about it like this, both Reynolds and Rodon are cheaper than what a Benintendi may cost you, and what, I don't know, a guy like a Conforto or a Nimmo may cost you. Plus, one's attached to a QO. Okay, fine. I'm willing to give that up, whatever we have to give up for it. But the other, you're trading, and you can you can give the guys who aren't being brought up, give them that chance to play. And give them that chance to get that experience, and they don't have to feel the pressure of New York.
Yeah, agree.
On yesterday, talking to Pete from MRI News about what it would take to get Brian Reynolds in a trade, right? What do you guys think? I mean, I think they should frontline a package with Jason Dominguez. Some people disagree, but what would you guys give up for Brian Reynolds?
If you're able to lock up Bader and work on an extension with him now, and you're able to trade for Reynolds, and with the contract with Judge, that does make the option of moving Dominguez more tangible and accepted by the fan base. So I think that's, there's still pieces that have to play before you do pull that trigger. But Dominguez is going to be their asking point, because they're going to want an outfielder for an outfielder.
And I think they could get away with Peraza, because they have O'Neal Cruz, they have Cabrian Hayes. They don't need Peraza.
Yeah,
they need outfield. What's your take, Hector? What's your price? What's your asking?
Tough
one.
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one, because and Pete brought this up in our conversation that the Yankees, they invested so much money when it came to signing Jason Dominguez to his international. It was a record break at the time, a record-breaking signing when it comes to international signing with Jason Dominguez. And they've invested so much into him that they want to see a reward and to see it pay off. Now, whether that be pay off in the way of a Brian Reynolds trade or pay off on the major league roster, we would know. I just do not want to trade Jason Dominguez. That's just me personally as a fan. But I understand if it improves our team and it helps us get to that next step of getting a championship, it's a move we're gonna have to make. As tough as it is, I don't want to see Jason Dominguez go. But if it's a move that gets us closer to another championship, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a highly touted prospect. He's also been surpassed. By There's some echoes up in here.
Is that echo? Mazza, mute yourself real quick.
He's also been surpassed by, quite a few other guys for number 1 and number 2. So, Pete has a point as well. But to me, Brian Reynolds is the finished product of what we hope Dominguez was going to be. Though we have that guy right now. There's no guarantee that Dominguez is going to be there ever. Mm-hmm. So, and there's been issues about his hustle for three times now. So while it would make sense to try to hold on to him and try to get a good return on investment, we get it immediately with Brian Reynolds. Immediately. And if you want to take advantage of the prime years of, some of these guys, Cole and Stanton and Judge and the rest of these guys, that's the type of now move we'd have to make. And he's on the cheap too. So, and that to me makes a bigger impact for the Yankees in the next, several years. And again, they're bringing a guy, Brandon Maia, in apparently. So that's the next goal for them. They've got Everson Pereira, who's only 2 spots behind Dominguez in the outfield depth chart. So, and he's heating up and rattling through the system too. So they have a little bit of cushion if they move Dominguez. Yeah, but it would be I think an unpopular move short term. We hate to see him go over there and turn into Brian Reynolds or better than Brian Reynolds. So that's what we'd hate to see. But at this point, it's probably, because at some point they're going to put the brakes on the payroll, right? So, and how do you do it? This is the easiest guy to get to make that possible. So, because they're not going to trade for Machado or Tatis or some of these other guys, so it's not going to happen. Brian Reynolds,
and it's a good way because he has controllability and his contract doesn't cost that much. It's a good way to sprinkle that type of talent around the big contracts, right? Because we got the big money contracts when it comes to now Judge, Stanton, you have Garrett Cole, you're looking at potentially Carlos Rodon if the Yankees sign Carlos Rodon. So you're going to need those young kids in the minor league system coming up, and you're going to need to be able to trade for players that have 3 or 4 years when it comes to arbitration control and low money.
Yep, and that's exactly what Brian Reynolds is, and we're going to have to give to get, unfortunately. So, and it is what it is, but
that's why you bite the bullet now on Dominguez. Because how many times have we heard about all these prospects that could be? We were supposed to look at this era, this finishing era of all these baby bombers, and how many of them have not panned out.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's going to hurt to see Dominguez go. If he goes in a trade, they might not ask for him. They might say, "We'll pay or nothing," and then you got to make a different decision.
Yeah.
So it's, even though they already have those positions filled, but just for argument's sake, if they ask for a different player that you weren't expecting them to, you got to pivot your discussions. And us as fans, we've seen them and have been bitching about them prospect hunting forever. This might be that prospect that we have to stop hugging and just move on from. And just if he has a great career, awesome, good for him.
Yeah.
If Brian Reynolds the next 3 years gets us a World Series, Dominguez who?
Exactly. And again, you're right too. This is the first time they've had a farm this deep in a while.
Yeah.
So, and we might as well use some of the players in the farm to get bigger players if they're not, because we already know that the Yankees. How often do they bring a kid up and let them play in the major leagues? Not very often. We're lucky. So, and Judge was part of the farm. And Jones, we got guys coming up. So it would hurt to give up some guys, yes. But at some point you have to, which helps answer, Lawrence Freeman's question, like Rodon, is it going to cost 6,210? It might. I'm thinking probably closer to 6,180, 30 per for 6, but we don't know. But acquiring a guy like Brian Reynolds would make it more feasible to do.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mazza?
So I'm thinking, first off, Dominguez is going to have to be in that package to get a Brian Reynolds. That's without question. The other thing I would say is, because you had put out that Herman, they're looking to shop too. So why not package Herman Dominguez, maybe an Austin Wells, and a Roderick Arias in a package to try to get Brian Reynolds. Because that way you're giving them an outfielder. You can give them a guy to play second in Roderick Arias, and then they get, Herman, who's already a major league proven pitcher. So you can throw him in that, and then you get Jason Dominguez, who can play the outfield to replace Brian Reynolds.
It's possible. I think giving up Austin Wells would probably be a little bit of a dick punch, but it might cost that. I would like to give up Trey Sweeney instead, but it might hurt to get Wells. But you never know because they might be waiting, because he's projecting as a first baseman, right, or catcher. So
I give you first baseman instead, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I think in a year or two they're going to be going after that Japanese Murakami. First baseman, he's a Babe Ruth of Japan. He's 58 home runs this year, 57 home runs. So,
and he's a left-handed hitter too.
He's lefty, yep. And he's he's an international player, so they could be saving money for that as well. And we talked about Murakami a while back, so they might have his eyes, their eyes, and we just don't know yet. But this is where making trades like that makes sense. But I think it would hurt more giving up Austin Wells than Sweeney. So I don't know about you guys, but. Welcome everybody to the channel, by the way. Shout out to everybody. Give Mo Bob. We got everybody here. Joey's in the house. We got Udall, Muzzle Tough, man. Sean Browning, Tyler Talbot, double T's in the house. Yeah. I mean,
all right. Now, if I was going to try to make a trade, right, and I'm trying not to trade Jason Dominguez, right? This is when it comes to not trading Jason Dominguez, right? I would center it around Austin Wells. I'll throw in Everson Pereira. I'll throw in Trey Sweeney, Will Warren, and Clayton Beater. Those 5 prospects to get Jason Dominguez. What do you guys think?
To get Reynolds?
I mean, Reynolds, yeah. So we could keep Dominguez and get Reynolds.
I think they might be. I would try to swap out Beater for Davy Garcia.
Yeah.
To me, Davy's found his mojo now as a reliever. I think Beater's going to be something pretty good. So I'm not sure. I think they'll be resistant to give him up. But you never know, Mike, to get a guy. I mean, if we're talking that much, then I'm asking for Bednar too. Because apparently Mark Feinstein was talking to them early, and he said they're still looking for another reliever. So, they got 2 now.
Here's a little food for thought, Jason. Luis Hill.
Yeah.
You could put Luis Hill in that if you wanted to. I know it'll be painful to give him up because he was really good for us, but Luis Hill, they might ask for.
They might. We give up a lot. We give up Medina, we give up Waldichuk and Sears just to get
Montas
and Montas. So I don't know. He's coming off TJ Luis Hill, but it might cost that because they're looking for pitching prospects and they're looking for outfield prospects.
Look, I think either way we cut it with whatever package it's going to looking at 5 plays on, and then try to add in another player. It's just going to up the price, and it's just a matter of how many cards do the Yankees want to play before they trade them. That's usually what you hold your biggest cards for. For those emergencies season, God forbid somebody goes down or somebody's not really panning out. So, that's what's going to make it a little tricky with making trades in the off season. That's one thing I always say. It's hard to make trades in the off season because you don't want to unload all your ammunition and then get stuck with an empty shotgun at the trade deadline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so I'm not sure our guest Anzo's coming on, but I'll give you a little intel. He's hearing some rumblings that the Yankees have found a trade partner, and this is for Tats and for everybody else. The Yankees might have found a trade partner for Aaron Hicks.
Oh, let me tell you, that would make my day.
That would make my day. Trust me.
It's been coming and coming and coming. If they're able to move Hicks or Donaldson, I'm going to buy a lotto ticket, and I quit gambling 5 years ago. But before I do it, I do have to get going. But before I do sign off, I want to thank you guys for having me on. And I'm elated that Judge is back. I think it was a necessary move. We'll worry about the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, I think that Rodon is signed before midnight. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be either a 5 or a 6 year deal. I think you're not going to get a short term on him. And if this news
He's
is
a
right,
cool guy.
I am going to be. You're going to see a lot of smiley faces on my social media today.
Dude.
But I hope you guys enjoy the
Hey,
rest of
Chase.
the chat. And everybody in the comments, thanks for coming to hang out a little bit. And I'll catch up with everybody later on another day.
That's always a
Later,
pleasure.
my guy. Later,
All right.
Tats.
Guys, if they somehow pull a trade for Hicks, I'm gonna do a video just doing the running man. I'm gonna do the running man, the whole video, and just narrate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll just give whatever I'm recording that day. I'm gonna be doing a running man with it. Maybe a little bit of the WAP too. I'll throw a couple other moves in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if they move Hicks, that'd be pretty significant.
Yeah, I really want that to happen. Shout out the chat real quick. We got Bronx Talks in the chat. Shout them out. I love those guys from Bronx Talks. Young fellas, they do a
Brian
real good
and
job.
Christian in the house.
Yeah. Shout out Brian and Christian from Bronx Talks. Really like those guys.
They're fired up, my judge. They are fired up.
Yeah, Udo's in the chat, my guy. Udo, salute, Paul as well.
Salvation Army for Hicks.
Hey, Jason, you may have to do an apple pie Big Mac if we get rid of Hicks.
Oh man. I don't know if my gut can handle that.
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting to get some more intel on this. But I mean, if it's got teeth, and if I'm hearing confirmation, particularly from some of the bigger sources, there'll be a lot of happy people. There'll be a lot of happy people. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we got 229 people. If everybody smashed that like button, let's get them likes up to 200 if we can. We had 400 likes or something like that last night. Nice. Crazy. So let's get them likes up if you don't mind. Hicks and a low-level prospect for a bag of balls.
But I want to ask you, Jason, how was you feeling yesterday when that John Heyman tweet went out? Probably one of the biggest gaffes that we've had in the world since Steve Harvey called the pageant wrong when he called the wrong answer for the pageant or whatever, Miss America. Yeah, Miss Universe. Yeah, for Miss Universe. It's on the same level. John Heyman and Steve Harvey, literally right there, neck and neck.
Miss Venezuela. What?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's not you. You lost.
Dude, you know what? I was like, because you guys know, I mean, I've been thinking that he was gone. So for a while, and I was surprised when he put that out, and I said, because he's been wrong a lot of times before, right? And then to find out that he's been backtracking 10 minutes later, I'm like, this fucking guy, man. See, I knew he was full of shit. Like, but I was one of the first things that came to my head is Cashman going to move right away to making a different move? Because that's what I've always been wondering. Like, what are they going to do with or without Judge, and is it going to happen quickly? Because we know Hal kind of ran this negotiation with Hicks. I mean, with Judge. And he wanted him back. And what Hal's going to – I mean, Cashman can't overrule Hal. Hal writes the checks. He's the boss man. So
Hal's the one who shows out that money.
Yeah. And then when I found out about a half hour after that Scott Boras apparently told John Heyman that Judge was heading to San Francisco. And I said, shit, really? Did he really – did he – you know? And now I'm trying to find out confirmation from that too. But that was all over the Twitter sphere last night too, that Boras, the ultimate troll, fucking told Heyman. And numbnuts Heyman actually put that out. Like, you got to confirm that, dude. What a jabroni. Yeah. Come on.
I'm not sure if you guys saw that video that John Boy put out of John Heyman walking around in the hall of the hotel just all by himself, lonely. Nobody wanted to stand next to him.
Yeah. I ain't standing near this dude, man. He's got cookies, man. You remember when we used to go bombing for Halloween? The eggs, the shaving cream, the bags with the flour, the shit, the socks. Remember we used to go bombing when we were kids?
No, I wasn't a degenerate, Jason, like you were when you were in Charlotte right now.
Well, when I used to go bombing. I feel like the same thing's gonna happen. Heyman's gonna get bombed. He's gonna get bombed. And like if Hal was outbid, that dude, he would have had his house bombed, his car bombed. He wouldn't be able to show ever again. Ever again.
I don't think that he could have taken another round of, heckling like he got Derek Jeter's thing. I don't think he could have taken that.
Dude.
I think that hurt his ego.
Retire now. He needs to retire. Like that literally, he needs to retire. That's like one of the most embarrassing moments in MLB history. He needs to retire.
Jigga Man's lap. Jigga Man's in the house. What's good, Jigga? Hop on if you can, man. Hop on if you got a
Pots and
few
pans,
minutes.
you can man Porto.
Yeah,
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
Jigga Man. He's the man with the plan. Man with the plan, dude. What's
So
your?
if you had to give Rodon a deal, what would it be?
I think it's going to be probably around. I think it's going to go 6 years. I'm not sure if they can get him for 5 because he's a Boris guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Boris is going to allow 5. So it's probably going to be 6 between 160 and 180. That's my.
I would say 6 years also in the same range because you got to think of it, right? If Jacob deGrom is getting 5 to 6 years from the Texas Rangers,
36.
Carlos Rodon, if he signs right now for 6 years, by the time that contract is over, he's going to be the same age as Jacob deGrom is at this moment right now. So Rodon is going to try to maximize, and especially because of who his agent is. So yeah, I can see that same range, 6 years, 30 to 35 million a pop.
Yeah, I could see it, man. He's going to get paid one way or another. And again, he's the big guy. I'm surprised that Tyon came off the board before he did.
Yeah.
But he did.
Mhm.
Taiwan Walker's off the board too to the Phillies. Like crazy. But like
Zach
and even
Eflin's off the board.
yeah, Kenley Jansen to the Boston Red Sox. And Jose Quintana over to the Mets. Then they got their 2 pitchers. They failed to get a deal with Tyon. And then Wilson Contreras to the Cardinals. So which again makes me afraid about what the Astros, how they're going to pivot. Now that they didn't get their number 1 target, what are they going to do? So
Mets also acquired Brooks Raley from Tampa.
yeah, I don't really know who that is, but I heard it's a minor trade. Who is that, Mazza?
So Brooks Raley was a left-hander that he wasn't great with Tampa, but last year he had a 2.68 ERA with a 1-2 record, and they gave up Keyshawn Askew. So
Who the hell is that?
I have no idea, but I'm also hearing though that the Pirates are interested in Tucker Barnhart of Cincinnati.
I did see that.
Okay. Yeah. But there was somebody's point in the chat when it comes to how they brought up Paul O'Neill Day, and I was there for both the Paul O'Neill Day and the Derek Jeter Day, and those days the fans gave it to Hal. So that 30-minute reality check yesterday that he felt of what could be, of the fans coming after him, he didn't want that. He didn't want that on his conscience going forward, especially if they have whatever day he has to be at the stadium. So he made sure that he signed Judge. And at the last moment, according to the reports, he called up Judge and asked him, what's it going to take? And Judge told him, I need that 9th year. Give me that 9th year and I'm coming home. And he said, it's done. You got it. And that's what it
pretty
took.
much gave him a blank check. He gave him a blank.
Now you seen and it sucks to be a Padre fan right now. Everybody that the Padres threw money at, nobody went there. Jose Abreu was the first one. Aaron Judge, Trey Turner turned down more money to go to Philadelphia of all places. Who wants to live in Philadelphia? I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't. But yeah.
This is like the dude who asked all the hot girls to the prom, and the girls are like, no.
Yeah. So if you're a Padres fan out there, I feel so sorry for you. Hopefully Tatis could come back healthy next year and you guys have a good season. Besides that, nobody wanted to go to San Diego.
Yeah, they're gonna get somebody. I just don't know who. I think the Giants are still gonna get Correa. They might get Nimmo too. But the Padres, I don't even know who they have in the outfield. Then they got Trent Grisham in center. I know Will Myers is gone.
Soto and right.
Who's their corner outfielders?
I think it's Cronenworth, Grisham, and Soto.
Oh, Soto. That's right. They got Soto.
Soto.
How can I forget about Soto? But they don't have Judge. Exactly, Jigga Man.
But to your point, Jason, about how the Astros struck out with Verlander, struck out with whoever else it was, Contreras. They also struck out with Rizzo because Rizzo was their number 1 target. And then Abreu was the backup plan if they didn't get Rizzo. And when the Yankees, told the Astros to go take a hike, we're getting Rizzo back, then they went and signed Jose Abreu to that deal.
Yeah, but now, the Yankees, they Are they going to make one big move or two big moves? What are you guys thinking? Is it Carlos Rodon and somebody else, Yoshida from Japan, or someone else, a Brian Reynolds trade? What do you guys think going to happen?
I think if payroll is an issue, they'll do one signing and one trade. If payroll is not an issue, they'll do two signings. Whether it's Benintendi or Yoshida, I think Nimmo's going to cost too much. So my guess is, my preferred is Rodon and Brian Reynolds, and then go get someone like Andrew Chafin for the bullpen or something like that, or trade Torres for Gregory Soto, which is still a possibility. They need somebody from the left side. But I think Rodon and Reynolds that'd be heaven for me, man. Heaven for me. What about you?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be this. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be Rodon, who's coming here tonight. I think that, like Tad said, that'll get done before midnight. And then I also think that Reynolds will be in the Bronx too. I think they're going to find a way to make a deal for Reynolds to bring him here. And then I think what they might do is they might go out and try and trade Torres for either another starter or another bullpen piece.
I could see that. What about you? You're on mute, Hector.
Sorry about that. It all for me. It all depends on what the Yankees they do at shortstop, right? So if they go into the season with Volpe or Peraza at shortstop, then I could see them trading Gleyber Torres, right? But if they're going with IKF at shortstop, I'm not sure if there's that much insurance, because DJ LeMahieu's not going to be back until about like June if he gets that surgery in the offseason that everyone expecting him to get. So I'm not too inclined to trade Gleyber Torres yet. I know that's the hot button right now. Everybody want to trade Gleyber Torres, and he does have a little bit of value being 26, having about 2 years left of controllability. If we could get a stud reliever, cool. I'm all on board for it. But I'm a bit hesitant, not knowing what we're going to do at shortstop and on the bench, right? Because we let Marwin Gonzalez go. Who are we going to have on the bench? Are we going to get another utility guy? Because if we trade Cabrera in order to get rid of Hicks's contract, then we don't have that super utility player that could play all around the infield.
Yeah, and I hope they don't do that. Honestly, it would suck. I would personally keep Cabrera than eat all of Hicks's contract. Get somebody to eat all of Hicks's contract.
Yeah,
I was going to say, what about Adam Frazier of Seattle? He's a free agent. He's a super utility guy.
If you wanted to get him on the cheap, then
you could get Adam Frazier on the cheap. He's going to be cheaper than what one of these big time shortstops is going to cost you, and he can play all positions except pitch, catch, first. Oh no, I think he can play those first. Whatever, he would still come cheaper than one of the other shortstops. You could throw him into short and move IKF to third and tell Donaldson to catch some pine.
Hey, and he's a left-handed hitter. I could take another lefty in Yankee Stadium. I wouldn't be mad at that.
That's the thing, because the moves that the Yankees have made, what have they done so far? They brought in Junior Fernandez, they brought in Rizzo, Judge, and yesterday Tommy Kahnle, right? They're still not closer to Houston. They're still not better than they were last year. They have moves to make. They just have a much higher payroll. So they got moves to make, and they have to make them one way or the other. So I'm really hoping that we can report Carlos Rodon, and I'm really hoping
that's what we need. We need that next number 1A next to Cole.
Yeah,
we need that guy. And I think somebody put in the chat that they heard the Yankees offered more money for Verlander than the Mets did. If that's true, that goes to show you that Kate Upton really hates the Yankees, right? Because she used to date A-Rod, and if there's anybody to blame for Verlander not being the Yankees, this is another way Yankee fans can just hate Alex Rodriguez.
So true, man. Oh, so true, my God.
Oh God, thank you, A-Rod.
Really? So
because you got, but no, honestly, all jokes aside, right? When you look at the scheduling for 162 games, 81 of them at Yankee Stadium, when it comes to ESPN, how many big time ESPN games that the Yankees do that Alex Rodriguez is there? So if that was a part of the conversation, it's a big part of the conversation, because I don't think anybody want to be around their ex for that many days out of the year, no matter how much money their partners, their husbands making.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I mean, it's just one. Verlander just keeps sticking it to the Yankees.
He really does. He really does.
But
Yeah. Every single
Houston
time.
might lose out on someone else
What's that?
if they don't. Christian Vasquez, who they got from the Red Sox last year,
Yeah, he's drawing interest right now.
has been made an official offer by the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Good catcher. I mean, my biggest curiosity is where Sean Murphy's going to go now. Since he's not going to St. Louis, could he go to Cleveland Guardians? That would be a nice move. I think Josh Bell was a nice move for them.
I could see Cleveland.
I could see him in Tampa or Cleveland. Cleveland would probably be more ideal.
Don't they have Austin Hedges though as a catcher?
I think so. Or Bo Naylor? Is it Naylor?
I would. I know I'm a Yankee fan, but I would love to see him in Queens. But I don't think the Mets, they have the prospect pool without tapping into their top two prospects, Alvarez and Beatty. I don't think they have the prospects to pull off a trade for Murphy.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that I would use either one of those guys for Murphy anyway.
Yeah,
they would probably use it for a bigger piece. Like something like that. But Sean Murphy, they could just
Tyler Tabit just said it. I would rather Verlander with the Mets than with the Astros. 100%, Tyler.
You don't have
100% agree with that.
The only time we'd ever have to face him now is in the World Series. In the World Series, he has had the worst stats in the World Series of any round in the playoffs. Even though he's pretty solid this World Series, I'll still take that. So, I'll take that.
I heard a couple days ago Arizona was interested in Murphy.
Yeah, I did hear that too. That could happen as well. I mean, Arizona's kind of my feelers out.
They still have money invested in Bumgarner, right? So they're paying a guy 20 in the mid 20s, per season. So they have to try to, be competitive in some type of way.
So true. Get him a good catcher over there. I'm looking to see now if there's anything popping up right now. I don't see anything. Wait a second. The San Diego from MLB Insider. The San Diego Padres and free agent shortstop Carlos Correa have gained serious momentum in the last 24 hours. This comes after the Trey Turner. So they're in advanced talks with the Padres, Carlos Correa.
That'd be interesting.
To get another shortstop, where are they going to play him? Second base?
I don't know. Tatis is coming back.
Tatis is going to miss like 30 games or something, then he'll be back. But
there's talks. All jokes aside, I was just about to say, there's all jokes aside, there talks about putting Tatis in one of the corner outfield spots. So
they could do that. I mean, you add a Correa to San Diego. That's pretty significant, man. With that lineup. But Machado has an opt-out, I think, after next year or the year after. So something to keep in mind as well. And then they could shuffle things around a little bit as well. Put Correa at third, bring Tatis back to short if they wanted to do that. So, but I can't believe they gave Judge 10 years, $400 million and turned it down. Yeah. I'm surprised, but I'm also impressed with Judge. So I got to give him kudos for that.
He showed loyalty to the Yankees. He took less of the 3 deals just to come back to New York. So that says a lot about him. That says that I want to be here.
Yeah.
19 con man in the building. Yeah, it's like when the Knicks signed all those power forwards that one off season. Jason, you remember the horrible off season? They signed about like 5 power forwards. Jesus Christ. That's what the Padres are doing.
Is that the one where they signed Eddie Curry and Jerome James?
No. That's another year when they signed a bunch of centers. That's just brutal. But no, they signed Julius Randle, Marquise Morris, Bobby Portis, another center. Taj Gibson. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Dude. Oh my God. The Padres might have like 8 shortstops, but it's all said and done.
Hey, they may get Xander Bogaerts also to throw it up on top of them. Why not? Just have a whole infield of shortstops.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that the Red Sox and Xander Bogaerts are gaining traction, so that might be something to look out for too. Xander Bogaerts might head back to Boston.
He might. And they're quietly, I don't know if you've heard, but they're quietly taking phone calls on Devers right now. The Red Sox, because they're $60 million apart in talks for an extension. He asked for $300. They offered him $240. Devers can't ask for $300. and they don't seem to be budging. So, but now if they happen to bring back Bogarts, then it makes sense to go up and give Devers what he wants. Otherwise, what the hell's the point? So, that's going to be something to keep an eye out for too, because he's on his last year as well. And they'll get a haul back for him.
Oh yeah.
So, and you guys probably know this. It sounds like they're going to strap the captain on Judge's jersey too. He'll get the big C on his jersey.
When you think that it'll be announced officially about the contract, because it's all pending physical, and they'll have a press conference?
He went back to the Bronx today. He took his physical this afternoon.
Okay.
Judge, my guess is they'll have a press conference next week in the Bronx.
Copy.
And Gito probably be there to, I guess, the passing of the torch for captain or whatnot. But that's what it sounds like. But he did fly back to the Bronx this morning, and for his physical. So I guess I don't know, it takes a few days, I suppose, to pass and sign the documents and whatever else, and then they'll have some kind of press conference, I think, next week. So
all right.
And that's one. I hope it's one of many conferences, man, that they have.
Yeah.
Mets are in on Kodai Senga.
Mets are in on him. Yeah. They need.
I'm just worried, man. And Jason, you and I spoke about it, like that the ball coming over from that league is a different type of ball at the major over here in the States. So like when Daisuke Matsuzaka was coming over here, right? He was hyped to have this gyro ball, right? He had his gyro ball that dissipate. He couldn't throw it over here in the States, right? Yep. So this guy Kodai Senga, I hopefully he has a phenomenal career. I'm not trying to wish a bad career on anybody, but he has a splitter that they call a fork ball or whatever they call it, that dies off the end of a gyro ball. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same transition over here to the major leagues. And when you look at his walk rate, his walk rate, he was averaging almost 8 walks per 9 innings last year in Japan. So if you bring him over here to the States, he's going to be like in the bottom 3, and that's if it doesn't get worse.
10 walks a game, something like that. You're going to need a Tanaka type splitter to be able to get dudes out. I mean, that's just Tanaka to me had the best splitter of all these Japanese guys.
Yeah,
not going to really pan out, but at least he didn't turn out to be Keigawa. Like Keigawa.
Oh God,
disaster.
Remember when he put those shades on, bro? That was like the worst thing ever. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. Brutal. Even Hideki Matsui won 12 or 13 games a couple of times here. I know Steinbrenner hated him, but the late Hideki Arabu. So he's no longer with us. But that dude. I can't help but laugh at these guys, but you're right about Senga too. I think the Mets are still down one pitcher. Okay, they lost they lost DeGrom, Taijuan Walker, Bassett, and they've replaced them with 2 so far. Right? They got who the hell did they get? Luis Quintana and Justin Verlander. So they still need one more pitcher. I haven't heard about.
Did Bassett? Did he sign with anybody else?
No, not yet. 4-year deal.
He's looking for a deal 3 to 4 years, roughly in the $15 to $20 million range, is what I've been hearing.
Probably
because besides the Mets, I heard like the Angels, in context with his agent. So the Angels have secretly been getting a bit of pieces here and there to try to see if they can put a competitive team out there on the field next year. And what is looking like it's going to be Shohei Ohtani's last season with them, depending if they trade him at the trade deadline or they lose him in free agency, depending on if they're in the playoff contention or not.
Yeah, and they're trying their best to show them that these guys are serious about winning. They basically have this one season to do it. So if Bassett would be a good move for them. And I still think they need to bring in someone else offensively. So I'm of the opinion that they would get one of these shortstops. So we'll see. There's still 3 left. So then I don't know.
Do you see Swanson going back to Atlanta? At this point, I think he's going back to Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, I could also see him going to the Cubs.
Yeah. Or to the Angels.
What about the Dodgers? Like, are they going to be in on Bogarts? Like, what's their shortstop situation since they did lose Trey Turner? So what are they going to do?
They said that
Gavin Lux.
So, but they have a super prospect who's like a shortstop. Diego Cartaya is their number 1, their catcher. And I think the number 2 prospect is a shortstop. So they have somebody waiting in the wings, and they have a top 5 farm. So, and somebody did ask who the best farmers in baseball, like Dodgers, Baltimore Orioles, the Diamondbacks, the Mariners have a good farm. The Yankees farm is a top 6 farm now. So those are the best farms. But I'm curious. I'm
Would
curious
you
to
take
see
a flyer on Noah Syndergaard? Even if
not instead of Rodon.
so if we got Rodon, right? We signed Rodon, would you still take a flyer on him?
No.
As a coming out the bullpen, if he's strictly a bullpen arm, 1 inning, 2 innings maybe, or a spot starter here or there. If he's coming out the bullpen, yeah, I'll take a fly on him 1 year for 10, 12 million dollars. But a starting pitcher, no, I'm not putting that much trust in Thor.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Same. I couldn't do it. It would have to be for Hector's right. I think it would have to be for the bullpen.
Yeah, and if you think about it, he has switched up his arsenal of pitchers. He's focused more now on a sinker, and that's what the Yankees, that's what they like when it comes to pitching philosophy, that power sinker. So maybe as a reliever, and not as a starter though. We need to get Rodon. I think it's Rodon or bust because, like I said several times, with talking with you, Jason, I think the Yankees, they need to go out there and get a starting pitcher that's already established, not try to trade for a pitcher that has the potential to be a number 2. No, I don't want a Michael Pineda.
No, oh God, no.
No,
That was bad.
Yeah, no.
And the Yankees traded a bust for him, Jesus Montero. He was like the number 1 prospect in the Yankees, number 5 in all baseball. He turned out to be nothing.
Another lazy kid. Lazy kid.
Yeah, he got popped for juicing a couple times too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, come on, what's going on with these guys? Like,
I couldn't agree more.
You
gotta.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, minor league numbers don't always translate to big league numbers.
Hell no.
I mean, it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah. Sean, Rodon or Bassett? To me, Rodon all day.
Rodon all day. Definitely.
Rodon all day. And then if you wanted to add Bassett as like a little side piece, then yeah, but Rodon all day. That's your priority.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure whether the Yankees are going to add 2 pitchers now because of the contract they just gave the Judge.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be 1.
I think Rodon's going to be the guy that comes here, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get somebody good for the bullpen and get a left field, and they're probably done if they don't pursue some kind of infielder. So, and if they don't trade Cabrera, then he could be the utility guy until Volpe's ready for second. They keep Peraza short, and they're looking pretty good at that point. But we'll see. And we'll see. They got to dump Donaldson one way or another. Yeah,
I still think Rodon and Reynolds come here.
Rodon and Reynolds will be phenomenal.
I'm trying to think about it when it comes to trading Donaldson. If you look at just look at the landscape of teams out there, right? Is there a team that's like a fringe playoff team that needs a third baseman? If you take a step back, look at who the playoff field was this postseason that just passed. Do you think of any team that needs a third baseman that could take a chance on Josh Donaldson for 1 season?
Fringe playoff. That's a good question. Not Baltimore because they have a Gold Glove at third base.
Mm-hmm.
Houston,
Toronto because they got someone.
Not Toronto.
Who plays third base for Seattle?
No. It's their lefty third baseman that they got from San Diego. I forgot his name. But no, he's a stud. Yeah, he's a stud. No.
Seattle,
not Seattle. Texas,
Who's
maybe
for Texas.
Maybe Texas.
Who's their third baseman? I don't even know.
Their third baseman is that prospect they got back from the Yankees. That left-handed hitter, Joe Smith or something like that.
The guy that we gave for Gallo.
For Gallo, yeah.
Simply Silent Fog, thank you, brother. Cubs need starting pitching, 2 relievers, shortstop, catcher, and first base. Who y'all think?
Suarez, Eugenio Suarez. It was a different guy that I was thinking. Yeah, but Suarez for Seattle. But yeah, when it comes to the Texas Rangers, maybe.
I would say maybe Texas.
Is it Josh Jung? One of the Jung
brothers?
Yeah,
it is Josh Jung. Yeah, their third baseman. Yeah. So not even Texas.
The Yankees are going to have to eat money regardless. So,
I mean, yeah,
I don't know, man.
One way or another, they're going to have to.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And in terms of the Cubs, Yeah, then he's starting pitching 2 relievers.
Let's see.
Shortstop. I mean, I could still see him getting one of these shortstops. I don't know what they're going to do now that Wilson Contreras is gone. Probably get one of these free agent catchers, right? First baseman. I don't even know who
If you think about it, all right. So this was the playoff bracket from last year, right? So Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Seattle, Toronto, Yankees, and the Astros in the American League. I don't think there's any one of those teams need to upgrade third base. Maybe not even Cleveland.
No, they got Jose Ramirez.
They got Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
Tampa's not going to spend money on Josh Donaldson.
No.
Nope.
Toronto, no. Then you look, the National League, you got Philly, St. Louis, San Diego, the Mets, Atlanta, and the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they just got off of Evan Turner's money, but they may bring him back. I mean, Justin Turner. They'd most likely go to bring him back, so I don't see them. Yeah. Not San Diego. They got Machado at third. Atlanta, no way. Yeah. So I don't see a team out there that needs Josh Donaldson.
You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, I don't know if they can send him to Cincinnati or Miami or something just to get some offensive whatever, but if they eat $10 million,
they would have to, if they did that, they'd have to eat Donaldson's contract off the full thing. I hate to say it because no one's going to pick that contract up, and we'd have to add a prospect to it to make it even worthwhile.
Jeets has a good points in it. The Brewers, maybe the Brewers, that Humidor Stadium that Milwaukee's in.
Yeah. I don't even know who's the third baseman, the Brewers.
I'm trying to look right now.
Hell, I know they just traded.
Adames is their shortstop, right?
For the Brewers, Willie Adames.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dodgers have also talked about trading for him for shortstop, so he might be an option for them as well. They've showed interest in acquiring him. Who the hell's the third baseman for the
Luis Urias?
Jace Peterson. Jace Peterson is their third baseman. That's who's listed here. He hit 236 last year, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. So maybe.
What do you got?
It's Luis Urias.
Is he any good?
Okay.
He's 25. Let's see here. This will pull up the stats. That would be helpful. He had 239, 16 homers, 47 ribbies, a stolen base, and 406 at bats with an OPS of .739.
So you're telling me they can't take a aging, overplayed third baseman who can't hit? Is that what you're telling me? Milwaukee, all right. Keys for the Packers games. Like, come on.
Hey, Jason, I may just have to run downstairs just for a second because I got a package coming that I got to go pick up. But that's probably like 5-10 minutes. I'll let you know.
I gotcha. We might wrap it up, but we'll wrap it up at an hour. So we're at 53 minutes. So something pops up, and I keep looking, see if something pops up so we can break news, man. Because I would really like to make some news. Yankees sign Carlos Rodon. Like, I'm waiting for that, man.
Seth Lugo. What do you guys think of him?
Lugo?
Seth Lugo.
He reminds me of
interest.
He reminds me of the 2022 version of Brandon Looper. That's who Seth Lugo reminds me of. He's that type of pitcher, a fringe starter, fringe reliever. No, but I mean it in a good way. Somebody that was both a starting pitcher and a reliever. Never really could be a closer, but had the ability to close here or there. So he's okay. I wouldn't try to sign him for big money.
Maybe the Minnesota Twins he might be a fit. That'd
be a perfect fit. San Diego. He can take the money that nobody wants to take.
Yeah, they just screwed 400 million. You just saved
for 10 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do you guys think about Brandon Nimmo? You think he's going back with the Mets or he's going someplace else?
I see him going to the Jays.
Go ahead, Mazza. What do you got? Where you got him?
I see him going to the Jays.
I haven't gone to the Mets or the Astros. The Astros are going to want to upgrade from Michael Brantley. Well, and if it's not Benintendi, it's going to be Nimmo, I think.
I could see Nimmo going to the Jays. That way, You could shift Springer to one of the corner outfield spots as he should be in this advanced stage of his career. He's very injury prone, so you have to try to save him as much as you can. Playing on that Astros turf that's already up there in Toronto doesn't help either. So, Brendan Nimmo, he'll probably be running to first base on a walk up there in Toronto this upcoming season.
True. This is true. So we got franchise here. We're willing to part with Peraza. Franchise in the house, by the way. Peraza and Gleyber, we can get a nice starter. The only starter, in my opinion, I would give up both of them for would probably be one of those Brewer starters.
Yeah.
Peraza's got to get us something real nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best shortstop by far in that pipeline, and on the major league roster too. So he's the number 2 prospect.
I don't want to trade Peraza and we get back Derek Struble from the Tigers. That's not what I'm willing to give a Peraza for. Like you said, one of the Milwaukee Brewers pitchers. That's somebody I'm willing to give up Peraza for.
Yeah,
a Corbin Burns or Brandon Woodruff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Not Tyler Rogers, not Derek Struble, not Pablo Lopez. No, it has to be one of those Milwaukee aces.
Yeah, I mean, Scruple, I would give up Gleyber Torres. They need a second baseman. He's close friends with Baez. They don't need Peraza. They have a shortstop already. I would package Dominguez for Scruple, but only if we got Gregory Soto too.
Yeah, you stay wanted to trade Dominguez, bro. You just don't like him. That's what it is.
I think he's probably.
It's because it's the way he spells Jason. That's what it is. He's like, why does he have 2 S's? You're supposed to have 1.
I hate people that add S's more. So stupid, man. Backing up the name, you stole my name, and you added a fucking S to it.
I'm thinking Benintendi's going to Seattle, though, because they said, I guess they interviewed the GM, I think it was, for Seattle, and he's like, we're looking for another bat, another corner outfielder, and I'm pretty sure Benintendi is probably going to end up in Seattle next to J-Rod.
It's possible. They traded freaking Meeker to the Brewers, so for who the hell, Colton Wong for second base. So Colton Wong, but yes, it's one of the weird moves.
Mind you, Harold Reynolds was a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Nimmo, he's the perfect type of hitter for Seattle. That ballpark, it's too big, right? It's a big ballpark, right? It's a National League type of ballpark. So you need that hitter that he could just poke it into the gaps, hustle down the line, rely on his feet. That's the type of hitter that Seattle needs. And Brendan Nimmo's the perfect pairing out there. Move J-Rod to one of the corner outfield spots. That way you save him when it comes to his legs and his career, so his longevity is a bit better. I think Brendan Nimmo will be a perfect spot.
Yeah,
for, Seattle.
I mean, doubles all day in the gap. Doubles all day, baby.
Yeah.
When's the Rule 5 draft? It's tonight, Albert. It's tonight. It sounds like the Yankees are going to lose Andres Chaparro. He's unprotected, and it sounds like he's going to get scooped up. That we know. I don't know who else is unprotected, but
are we getting that Brandon Maia kid?
For international, the international draft hasn't happened yet, but they're in the lead for Brandon Maia.
That's what it looks like.
Sign him, but we'll see. That's not today. It's just a Rule 5. And then the draft lottery happened last night. The Pirates got the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah, shout out to the Pirates.
Yeah,
of course they did.
Yeah, I mean, that's what like Tampa Bay. That's one reason it was so good. Is they got like 10 years of consecutive number 1 picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got like David Price and all these other guys. Like that's when you're that bad and you get all these number picks, that's how you can be really good. And they just happen to really good developing players.
Look at Baltimore, Gunnar Henderson, Grayson Rodriguez, Adley Rutschman. Our top 3 prospects are going to be beasts. One of them's already a beast.
Yep. Holiday.
Jackson Holiday. Yeah, man. It's,
if you ask me, if I was the GM, and this is why I just talk about stuff on YouTube and I don't have a job in the front office somewhere. But if I was the GM of the Orioles, I would have took Drew Jones over Matt Holiday's son. Honestly, I would have took Andrew Jones' son over, because if you watch Andrew Jones' son, Drew Jones, he just looks 10 times better than his father. Like power, speed, fielding ability. He just looks like he's a better version of his father.
So that's Detty. That's definitely
And the Diamondbacks, they drafted him. So the Diamondbacks, they got him. So hopefully the Diamondbacks' future's bright.
Yeah, I mean, these some good-looking prospects, man. Some good-looking players coming up. Now, somebody just said in Wikipedia says Rodon is a Yankee. I'm gonna look at this shit.
I don't see anything.
Don't trust Wiki. I could go into Wiki and edit it right now. I'm gonna go into Wiki right now, and I'm gonna edit Jason as the owner of the New York Yankees. Watch me do
It says he's a free agent. Hayden must be trolling us or something, man.
That deal I was telling you about, that contract the Yankees offered him, Dan Federico put this out. I've heard the Yankees are still heavily involved in Carlos Rodon talks, as many have reported. Numbers mentioned were 4 years, $120 million, but won't be surprised if that exceeds it, or if they exceed it to sign him.
You're gonna have to bump it to at least 5. 4 years ain't gonna cut it. Somebody's gonna give this guy 5.
I think the Yankees are giving him 5 with a 6-year option.
Could be kind of like DeGrom. He's got the Terminator representing him. Scott Boras. He's the Terminator. Somebody who doesn't have money to overpay. He's gonna sign with the fucking Royals, and we're like, Royals? What the fuck? Because Scott Boras, right? I've always wanted to go to Kansas City. The best barbecue. Come on, you had to Scott Boras. Like,
oh man. Yo, but Jason, I gotta head down. My package just got here. Appreciate you for having me on. Shout out to the chat, Mikey Mazza. You know, it's always a pleasure, my brother. And for those in the chat that don't know, this Friday on NYY News TV, we're launching a new show. It's called Get Yanked. It's myself and my guy, Jigga Man Porter. We're co-hosting the show together on NYY News TV. So if you guys can tune in this Friday at 4 p.m., make sure, because Get Yanked is going to be the major show. Jason, like I said, appreciate you, my brother.
Always a pleasure having you both. I thank you for coming on. And anybody on this channel that's in the chat, we got 200 plus people who hasn't subscribed to Yankees Morning Brew or 4 Train Express, please do so. You're missing out, and I don't want you to do that. So, and anything else that comes out today, 4 Train will get it to you. I'll get it to you one way or another. So, peace and love, everybody. Thank you again, 4 Train, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll talk to you next time. Signing out.